50% of Google searches does not even end up with a single click. Half of the time, most of the people don't even visit a website. They get the answer that they want from Google straight away. And with the rise of AI engines such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity, the numbers are going up. So the question is, how is your SEO and acquisition strategy is going to be if your organic traffic keeps going down? And let's ask HubSpot. Earlier this year, they've lost 70 to 80% of their organic traffic over a Google algorithmic update. And if it can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. And here where AEO, answer engine optimization, comes in. And basically, and the reality is, in this AI world, if your brand is not an answer, you are invisible. So today we're going to breaking down what is AEO and how can you optimize for it. How is it different from traditional SEO? And how can you track the visibility of your brand across different AI engines? And what is the future of SEO? Is there even going to be an SEO in 2030? And what will happen with paid and SEO? Are they still going to collide or in this new landscape? Or is there a way that they can work together? And for this, I have the perfect guest. I have here with me Mahmoud Nasim, the founder and managing director of Trezen Gross, and a former product lead of SEO and MarTech at Property Finder. He's a sharp mind who lives in the intersection between AI, SEO, and growth. So today is not going to be a theory, it's going to be a playbook about how your brand can survive in this AI world. So bring your coffee and get ready to have your view of SEO changed completely. Mahmoud, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the amazing introduction. It's lovely always to have a catch up with you and being here on the podcast. Really happy to talk about that topic that we discussed about, the AI overview, AI engine optimization, and all these kind of things are creating a lot of noise lately.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And honestly, like, people are torn apart between, is it really noise or just having an impact? Because at the end of the day, a lot of SEO people, they keep thinking maybe it is not as important that changes that's happening. But in fact, when you see companies, big companies, are suffering a lot overnight, almost overnight, when it comes to the organic visibility, makes us stop to question the reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's something that nobody can deny, that there is something disturbing in the industry, that the way that people used to search is slightly different than it used to be before. So now, instead of you, again, it changes the way people search in terms of what they really want from the search. So the search has been evolved into a way that you search and you wanted to commit an action, or you just wanted to search for just an exploration. So what these AI engines doing is they are eating at the UI of other websites. So instead of you just browsing the news, asking about like certain glossary, certain question, well, you can get the answer of the question right away. And they have figured out, why don't we just get that, scrap out the content out of these websites, and then we present it to the user, so we can save them some time, and then they can get the answer that they want. And what happens is, to these websites who rely mostly on the informational content, that has been eaten away. It doesn't mean that they are not visible. They are very visible, but the way we think about the visibility is totally changed now. Visibility before was attributed clicks. When a user search about something in search engine, you rank in the blue 10 links in the top. When you write good content, doing the perfect SEO and so on, you rank in the top. People come to your website, and then you have funnel optimization and so on to the next steps and so on. But now it's changed. You search about something, specific question, you get this specific answer to it, summarized not just by the top ranking results, but all across the web. And then you get the perfect answer curated by the answer engines, and then that's it. You don't need to commit any other actions. Now the play with the SEO is slightly different. You need to have something that users are really willing to take the next step and then visit your website, navigating through it and find whatever they want. Let's take an e-commerce as an example. So in like e-commerce versus, let's say, a blog website that is about lifestyle or whatever. I wanted to travel to, let's say, Bali, and I want to know about the kind of things that I need to do in there. So I'll be searching in Google, what are the most attractive things that I can do in my visit in Bali, and let's say in August. I'll be searching, and then the answer engine would be replying to me with all the kind of steps that I wanted. But then when I take the next step and finding a flight, let's say, or finding a hotel, the answer engine cannot really help me on that. Even though they can curate these websites for me, and then I can visit these websites and commit the action. That's where the AEO comes into play. So you have to be visible, as you said, but the game is totally changed. And instead of you measuring the attributed clicks, you're measuring the visibility in the different services. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty like big and also detailed topic. So if I'm going to break it down a little bit, and like you have your own agency dedicated for and focusing on SEO.
Yeah.
What would be maybe like some of the biggest mistakes or misunderstanding that brands has when it comes to optimizing for AI? What are the things that they do either doing wrong or they don't understand completely?
Well, there are lots of things actually. So the thing is with AI engine optimization and all the services in generative AI is slightly vague. Like people that they don't know exactly if there is a playbook. Like for instance, Google have their guidelines. Google also have their quality rater guidelines, where they have the quality raters who rate the top 10 ranking results and then determine which one of them is the best. This data is exposed, everybody can understand. You have your Google Search Console, so you know where you are visible and how to optimize for it. But when it comes to ChatGPT and the rest of them, you don't have any visibility on that. And I'll come back to the visibility later, but we don't have an direct integration with them to know what are the volume of the prompts, how users are actually finding me, and so on. So the misconception here is people start to assume things that it works, but maybe it works for them for a specific reason, or maybe there are lots of false positives in the things that they do. One of the misconceptions is that we want to, I don't know, we want to do like massive schema markup so that answer engines can understand that better. We have tested that. It actually worked for some people, but it doesn't work for the rest of them. In fact, that the answer engines are not really crawling your website and fetching the schema, but they have third-party tools to scrap the web. And these third-party tools, they have the decision either to take your data from the schema markup or taking your data directly from the content that you have, and then structure it back later. And there are some other things like backlinks. They think that the backlinks work more than anything. Well, it works, but it works because answer engines are based on something called RAG, retrieval augmented generation. What happens is you search about something in ChatGPT, let's say, and inside ChatGPT, it determines either they wanted to ground their response with a search result, or they can reply directly from their database or their training. So when it comes to the training, we don't have a way to influence the training. You can influence the training if you are part of the big corpus of the data that comes in when they do the training. But we don't have visibility which one they choose. If you have lots of services in the web, they can do that. And then AEO is influencing the RAG, the retrieval augmented generation. What happens in the RAG? You search about something. Let's say in the real estate industry, someone is searching for properties for rent in Dubai. ChatGPT does not have a live index of, let's say, Property Finder, Dubezel, or Bayut, or any of them. What they do is they do something called grounding, or we call it in the SEO or the AEO, the query fan out. So search engines or generative engines like ChatGPT, what they do is they take your query and then they transform it into multiple questions. They go for Google search. Now, mostly they go for Google search, previously for Bing. and then searching for all this kind of set of questions. When it comes to RAG, they fire a query fan out, and inside that query fan out, they figure out the top 10 results, top 20 results, top 100 results, depending on the relevancy of these results. And then they capture all these results, and then they embed it in a vector database, and then they retrieve which one of them is a perfect answer for the user question. So what you can do here, how the backlinks comes into play, is that there are, let's say, 10 links they cover from each query fan out, and you have 10 query fan outs. You might be ranking first in all of the 10. However, it's technically hard because there are lots of random questions. But what you can do alternatively is that you can be present in the top 10 for each one of them. Like they would be asking for something related to your query, like properties for sale or for rent in Dubai. There might be like a trending story in Time Out, or would be a trending story in Gulf News and so on. So you wanted to increase your likelihood of being present in all these 10 results. And if you have more visibility in these guys, then the RAG will retrieve the data that comes from these results, and then see what are the most visible websites. And then they curate that website, they cite that website, they link to it based on the attention that comes from all these results. That's where the backlinks is. So yeah. That's why they think the backlinks is the ultimate solution. It is a solution, but it has to be done that way, not the way that we used to spam the web around with lots of backlinks and so on.
Yeah, big time. And let me try to summarize what you said in my like layman understanding. So the whole idea is of AI engines. That's the way that they do search is totally different than Google, the old way of scraping your website and getting your data. In a way, they're trying to basically get your data and to try to validate your data with the overall internet. And here comes the point of the importance of citation and publication and using PR as, and people right now are using it as a hack. Like use this hack in order to gain visibility on AI very quickly. But like the thing that we need to think about that now, like the AI is not intended for search. That's why when it does search, it does it in a way that is coming with an opinion, if it makes sense. So he's trying to do the search and trying to generate its own opinion. That's why it's very important to look back and things that we used to overlook, things such as PR, things as, and also PR not from any website, but from sources that has some weight. So at least, and especially when it comes to other websites, social media websites such as Reddit. Reddit has been actually having very big impact when it comes to those optimization when it comes to AEO, because I guess it has a high ranking in the learning of AEO. Like you can always see Reddit being cited for answers. So and now when you think about this and the old way that we use, this is no longer SEO or pure traditional SEO. Now we have to work with the person responsible for the organic social. Now we have to work with the person responsible for PR and the brand and all of this. And now we have to overlook all of this and to see what is our brand pulse in the market, to see if it's going up or going down and what we're going to do about it. So is my understanding correct?
Absolutely. And I want to come to your point in Reddit. So the reason why that Reddit is skyrocketing in the internet is very simple. They have the perfect formula for a perfect SEO, which is they have an authentic content. So nowadays, actually since GPT-2 has been launched, which is back in the days, GPT-3 come into play, where content is a commodity now. Like everybody can write a piece of content, everybody can write a long piece of content. And I remember in the days in 2010 where writing content was actually a big struggle to launch a website. If you have a lot of content, even if it's not that good of a quality. I remember back in the days, there was a spinning of the content. We copy content from different places just to spin it around, and it was ranking fine. But now content is a commodity. Like everybody can write content with authenticity and so on. What happens is there is a theory called the dead internet. Well, the internet is just controlled by the bots altogether, and we are about to encounter such a thing. what's happening today is when the content is commodity, everybody have more or less the same benchmark with what the content is. So the algorithm, Google algorithm, is always tweaked through the quality raters. What they do is they rank which website is better than the other. That one deserves a better rank because it have opinions, because it have authentic content, have different views, and so on. And they figured out that the forums like Reddit is one of the biggest places where they can find authentic content that is not written by AI and so on. So the algorithm keeps tweaking over and over and over till they found out that they are prioritizing forums more than anything because they have UGC. And then they have their own partnership with Reddit. Google owns a lot of stocks in Reddit today, and now it keeps surfacing them more. Google in their horizontal surfaces, they have AI mode, they have all the search results, they have videos, they have images. And with that, they have forums as well. So everybody that have forum, a community, and so on, have noticed a significant growth in their traffic because they have UGC. And it's always one of the tactics that I took with all the CMOs that I got to work with, that if you own a UGC, then your SEO can run by its own. Your AEO can run by its own because you have authentic content that is about what your users are talking about, what their problems are, and how you are tackling these questions and how they tackle the questions altogether. So my suggestion is not just to be present in Reddit. Absolutely, it's something that everybody has to do because it's a service that you have to be there, like any social media platform. But I would say start by having earned media. Have a place where your media is inside your website. You might have a way to capture UGC. You're selling products, you're in e-commerce, get the reviews of your customers. It adds more authenticity to your content, that your content is actually real. It's not a scrap. It's not something that you're getting somewhere. It's not that data that you have created your own and so on. Have your own discussions, have your own forums. It's actually easy now. There are lots of tools that can build this on the fly. So it is something that everybody can focus on.
Yeah, it makes sense. And can you tell me more about the theory that you mentioned regarding the dead internet? Like how?
Yeah. So the idea behind it is that imagine we are in a place that it's all about agents communicating to each other. You don't do anything. I mean, previously back in the days, we're like even far before the calculators, we've been calculating the whole thing by our own. And then after the calculators come in, we have taken something out, which is calculating. And even before this, like writing yourself, and then you have a typing machine where you can write for you. And then we have the computers. It can do multiple things all together. And then we have the internet, which connects multiple things together. And then we have an additional layer of it. So previously, before search engines, there were directories. So you have to go through the directory. You have to fetch whatever you want. It takes a lot of time. And then they have search engines, which kill the directories. And after the search engines, we have Gemini engines, which kills the whole process. And now Gemini engines are coming with agentic AI, which is getting you whatever you want with just simple typing. I wanted to purchase something for my baby, for instance. I wanted to get that thing. I want to buy that thing. It will take the decision on my behalf. So it's a bunch of agents who are communicating together while website owners are designing the web for users. Now they have to think about designing their websites to make it easier for agents. And then eventually, by the time it's a bunch of different agents communicating together. Social media is now full of bots created by AI. Imagine where social media is all about bots interacting together, and we're just not there anymore. Search engines and so on. And then that creates the dead internet where whoever is living in the internet is just a bunch of bots. Like I want to create a social media influencer that is created by an AI agent. Have an avatar, have a certain style, have a certain look, doing certain things and so on. And then I advertise for brands. There might be that brand is just a solo person. He is totally hands off and he have his own agent, which gets their products have images of the products, have videos of the products, and doing a collaboration with my agent, which is actually an AI agent, and then surfaced on social media, which is full of other agents who are following agents for the sake of getting engagement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it's like a loop.
all of it is just.
It reminds me of this video that was viral, I guess, a couple of months back about an agentic AI is like a travel agent trying to book a ticket, and he's calling another agentic AI,
Absolutely.
and the guy was recording it. And once they both recognize that both are agentic AIs, they start talking to each other in another coding language. I guess it
Yes.
Because it was efficient, much more
Let's
efficient.
skip that human jargon.
Yeah, like and it's very interesting because when you think about like how people used to think about social media and the internet, how it's bringing people together. But now, even though everyone is on the internet, but we are never as alone as we are going to be with the development of AI. Because what is going to be happening, at least what we can see from now, is people are there on the internet, but they don't interact with each other. They interact with a lot of AI agents
Absolutely.
that surround them and always keep feeding them information that they are more biased toward. So it's becoming very hard to find really authentic information or to find this middle ground between the colliding, especially when it comes to politics and having opinion.
Yes.
The machine is going to keep feeding you what you have a tendency toward, and yeah, man, I don't think this is it's
Yeah, I mean, it actually gives me a lot of fears. I had a weird dream. It wasn't actually a dream; it was a nightmare. So, in a dream, I have dreamed that humanity is just a bunch of API calls to ChatGPT. Whatever we do is something that we cannot control. It's totally biased by our learnings. Again, it's a human nature as well. So whatever you do is based on what you have learned before. Whatever your attitude is based on what you've learned before. Imagine where these AI agents are taking decisions on your behalf, and they have their own learnings. They have their own biases. Imagine that they are the norm, they are the mainstream in the future. As you mentioned, how would that be impacting our lives? How would that be impacting our decisions? How would that, because they take decisions in our behalf.
Yeah.
How would they take, I think I've heard one of the politicians, he said that he's using ChatGPT as an advisor. So imagine that somebody rules a place where you have ChatGPT with its own biases to rule his thing.
No, true. That's why, because I believe one of the most important skills that everyone should invest time to try to get better at is actually critical thinking.
Absolutely.
To be able like to try to always think things through, to critique things through, and nothing I come across is more efficient than actually developing the skill of critical thinking is actually as traditional reading. You take a book and you take your time. You spend some time out of the screen. Take a book,
everything,
and read through it. And then when you read, you start having your own thoughts. This is what's going to improve your critical thinking. Because at the end of the day, now, if now AI is going to take actions in your behalf, and if, for example, let's say in the future that AI took an action and commit a crime, and it's your AI agent, you should be responsible. You are going to be responsible.
Yes.
You are the one who taught
Sam Altman should be
Yeah,
responsible
Sam
for
Altman. No, like even the user.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you are the only input in the equation. Like you are the one who's learning from. So, but at least we're not there yet. Thank God we're not there yet. But at least for now, what we can do is to take the information that we get from AI as users with a bunch of salt, with a lot of salt. Because at the end of the day, you will start noticing if you're talking to it or chatting with it a lot, that actually is trying to please you, not to try to give you the most efficient. And also he has to do some kind of decision based on energy efficiency. If you're asking very complicated question, he will try to give you a politically correct answer. So you don't consume so much energy. But like now, when it comes to, if we're going back to the point of SEO and the future of AI, what are the foundations that brands need to have in place in SEO before having any discussion about AI?
Yeah. Well, one of the misconceptions that we have today is the SEO is going to die and we all going to live in AEO, which is totally untrue, because the amount of clicks that are generating from SEO is still live as it is. And the like, let's imagine the whole web is a pie. And now we have Gemini services as a percentage of that pie.
Mm.
It doesn't mean that they are taking out some percentages of the search engines. It's not a zero sum game, but it's actually an addition to the pie.
Mm-hmm.
So the total pie, let's say it's 1 billion sessions, and now it's 1 billion and something. That something is the new service in Gemini. That means it will actually, the amount of searches that is done in Google is keeping increasing. So the priority for you to optimize for your SEO is still as high as it should be. And you should still focus on your SEO, doing all the things that you can do for the SEO, but skipping away from the traditional ways of doing SEO. You have to look at your full funnel. You don't want to optimize just for the ones that bring you a lot of traffic, the ones that bring you a lot of search volume, because you might be ending up with a lot of information and content, which ends up just generating you some impressions and visibility and not cited clicks where users come actually to your platform. So you need to focus on the SEO basics. You need to focus to have a very strong base in the technical SEO, because imagine that you don't have just bots hitting your website from search engines. You also have a lot of bots coming from other engines, like ChatGPT and the rest of them. So you need to make your website as fast as possible. You need to make sure that your website is internally connected through internal links. You need to make sure that you have at least the basics for the schema markup. You cover pretty much all the user journey. So your website acts on as a good data harvest for search engines. Also, very good data harvest for partners that work with ChatGPT and the rest of generative AI engines. So you have to still focus on the SEO. And actually, the generative engine optimization is still the same as the things that we are doing in SEO. Let's take backlinks as an example. Backlinks is also something that we used to do in the SEO. What you need to really focus on is you need to again own your full user journey, and inside that user journey, you have to be critical in the priority, which one goes first. Imagine it's a circles where the closest circle is what you really provide in your brand, which is the bottom of the funnel. You have to cover this, and you have to understand your personas, because how people are searching today is based on their mood, based on their style, based on their perspective. For instance, I'm a new father, so I'd be searching
Congratulations.
for.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be searching for something, let's say for babies, or how to be a good father, for instance. So majority of the searches that I'm gonna do is based on my persona for the specific things that I'm looking at. I'm browsing, let's say, an e-commerce website. I have a persona which is a new father, so might be interested about baby things or things related to parenting in general. So you have my own persona, and I'll be asking the questions based on my persona. And these questions, I'm gonna take it in the answer engines like ChatGPT. So you need to frame your website, you need to frame your product into the personas that you cover. Somebody is in the tech, so you need to answer the question based on their perspective. Somebody is in the product, you have to get down or get as high level as you want to the product methodologies or the product thinking. Somebody's in the marketing, you have to also think the way they are thinking and answer your questions in different ways. Have multiple landing pages for multiple personas. What's the problem that your product is solving? That's one thing. You figure out the problems and which one of these problems fitting for which persona, and then transform these as landing pages, transform this as a messaging in your website. There are lots of websites actually starting to do this now. One of the good examples is Braze, for instance. You know, Braze, like, it's a very famous tool. So in their websites, they have splitted their mega menu into personas, where they have each persona, what they like. They have Braze for engineering, Braze for product managers, Braze for marketing, and inside marketing, they have Braze for re-engagement, Braze for CRM, Braze for push notification, and all this kind of thing. Use cases along with personas. So that's very important. That's the very first thing that you need to do. And also get back to your basic SEO. This is, we used to call it, and we still call it, the programmatic SEO. We have lots of use cases. you have lots of personas, and you have lots of other variants like locations and so on. You combine those together, and you get thousands of landing pages. You have very curated content, have a unique data point, have, let's say, UGC, then the sky's the limit.
Okay, let me try to now, because I have a couple of points on what you mentioned. So starting off the idea of that AI is just an added to the pie. It's not actually taking from the pie of searches.
Absolutely.
I thought about this, and I find myself disagreeing a little bit, because if you think about it from a perspective of the user, not from the perspective of the searches, the users are the same. Like, AI did not come and bring new users. Like, if you are like this parenting website, that's e-commerce parenting website, usually, like, and you're targeting the UE, you have million parent in the UE, for example. It's the same million. This same million in Google searches equal to maybe 5 million session a month.
Yeah.
But now this 5 million session I would assume, went slightly down, and there is more number of session coming from generative AI. So if you think about it from the perspective of users, I think it will be not an added to the pie. It definitely took something from the pie, and the adding element to it also, why it is actually traditional SEO might be dying, because I believe now, I used to believe, there is no way SEO is going to be there, but now I think it might be, because the Google are super agile, and in a couple of months they can change totally the old way of doing SEO.
Absolutely.
And if they did so, because also they have their own Gemini and their own AI overview that they want to keep pushing against Perplexity and ChatGPT. And if they did this can completely change fundamentally what people used to think about SEO. So this is the first point. Second point is, because I totally understand this, as I used to be on the client side a lot, there is the issue is, no one is disagreeing with the importance of the actions that can be done from SEO, but the big problem when it comes to prioritization, because at the end of the day, I don't have unlimited time, I don't have unlimited resources. What I care about is, for example, my quarter, my months. What can I do today that can have the highest impact in the brackets and between brackets SEO and AI search? And with this lens, the prioritization has to be done. Do I need to do what is so important to do on traditional SEO versus AI, or should I focus on something with citation or something with PR that I can do now to have highest impact? So this is the lens of urgency and opportunity cost that a lot of decision makers think and business leaders think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lots of people are actually freaking out that ChatGPT is here and we have to be visible and so on. But little that they know that the amount of clicks that you can get from these websites are very few. You just focus on visibility. You want to be visible. And we're going to get back to how to track this visibility and so on. But it doesn't deny the fact that SEO is still important, and actually more important than optimizing just for AEO, because let's take AEO as part of the SEO. If you just focus on that part, you have a broken SEO. But if you do it the other way, you have a good working SEO, and then that's also complementing in the way that you work. In the AEO, you have to do it a little bit differently, not too much. And when it comes to priority, as I said earlier, you have to, in the SEO, you have to optimize exactly where your users land their website. For instance, you have to give them something that they really want to visit your website for. You have to guide them with tools, a lot of free tools, calculators, for instance. You have to give them a lot of discussions and forums like Reddit and so on, with a UGC, with a bunch of programmatic SEO landing pages. That's your first priority. Don't focus on the very high search volume, low intent keywords where it's just informational. Users can get the same answer from ChatGPT. However, this is very important, but you don't need to do it now. If you're starting, you just focus on your close circle, cover your close circle, and then once you have the good visibility into it, users are coming to you through SEO, and it can also come through ChatGPT. And then you would be thinking, how can I increase my surface visibility?
Mhm.
Now I have my close circle. Should I move to a bigger circle, which is now I cover the bottom of the funnel. I wanted to cover the middle of the funnel, and then the top of the funnel, till I achieve the topical authority. So topical authority, like Wikipedia.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why Wikipedia is one of the most cited websites in ChatGPT, because they own lots of services.
Mhm.
Whenever they initiate a query fan out or a grounding, they find Wikipedia as the great source that have all the data.
Mhm.
Well, think about it as well. So think about it from a data aggregator point of view. You are an owner of a generative engine. And generative AI engine. And what you want to do is that you want to feed them with a very good data, and also you're careful about your cost. Would you go for multiple websites representing the same thing and then you pick something here or something here? Or you go for a very well curated websites which have all the things that you want? Of course, I'm going to go for the one cheaper for me, have all the things, have a good navigation and so on. So if you achieve the topical authority for your niche within your brand, then everybody who gonna be searching whatever their step of the funnel is, either in Google or either in ChatGPT, they will find your website, and ultimately that will increase your branded search,
Mhm.
because now whenever I search about something, I find you, and then the next step for me is just to search for your brand,
Mhm.
and then I find whatever I want.
Mhm. Okay, allow me to be the devil advocate here
Yeah.
for a minute. And I'm going to be talking specifically about e-commerce here in the region that we know of.
Yes.
I'm not going to mention name, but from experience, majority of the e-commerce here in the region, that they have very average, if it's not mediocre SEO, and they know it because
Yes.
of technical issues that are preventing them from improving, because of tech debt, because of business models that they cannot change certain things to be ideal. But like, let's say every one who's managing digital marketing or a CMO, they know that their SEO, let's say in the region, it's not ideal. It's not the 100% strength. They know it's maybe 60%, 40%, 70%, and the machine is working. Overall, we're
Yes.
achieving our targets. We're doing good. We are improving. And if I'm going to reallocate the resources or the time and as a resource of engineers, I have engineers that I work with, and I want to give them like priority, one main task or one big project to get it done this quarter, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
And this task or this project should take my the organic traffic part from 60% that in my mind to maybe 70 or 80%.
Absolutely.
Now, as a decision maker, I have to decide which is this one thing that I need to do. Now, the challenge is that a lot of marketers, we suffer from shining object syndrome.
Yes.
So anything with anything new, usually it takes our
that's
attention.
why all of you guys get to the AI.
Yeah, like anything new that usually get our attention and we need to focus on, because it might be an opportunity, and also it might be disruptive very quickly. You don't know that if things changed with AI engines, tomorrow Google adapts it and it becomes a reality and we're losing our traffic. It happens to HubSpot. Why it's not happening to us?
Nokia syndrome is hard.
Yeah, and HubSpot like started this year 70 to 80% of their organic traffic done.
Yeah.
Gone, and they fired people, let go of people, and all of that. Of course, it was a Google algorithmic update, but it can be another Google algorithmic update that is focused to make more the visibility is more aligning with AI or AI engines, not necessarily the old way of doing SEO. So now the question to you is, how can you help decision makers take the decision to choose this one or two big projects that they need to focus on this quarter to improve their organic visibility or organic traffic or organic revenue?
Yeah. Taking e-commerce as an example.
Yeah.
And I want to also get back to your point in HubSpot, because I have lots of friends who work there. So guys, you're doing a really great job. But the thing is, the reason why they've been declining is that the majority of their SEO was focusing in the full funnel. And then I found out it actually working very well for them. They were focusing on the top of the funnel. And now when AI overview came in and ChatGPT and the rest of generative AI engine came in, and they answered these questions right away. So they don't the click that the user have to take in order to visit their website, read their content, commit the action is not there anymore. They can do that just by simply searching.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're shifting their strategy. And HubSpot is one of the best performing websites in AEO now. And they're shifting a bit their strategy in the bottom of the funnel to focus on a lot of strategic things that let the user can actually commit to an action and visit their website. And they're performing very well today. But again, doesn't deny the fact that they have hit by a massive algorithm upshift, which hits everybody today.
But like, if we're going to cover it a little bit deeper, the issue with HubSpot was mainly that they have a lot of articles, as you said, to cover like the top of the funnel. And the issue with this is not only that the AI engine ChatGPT is taking more share of their traffic, but most importantly, that actually Google penalized them for that they're basically generating articles that they have zero authority about their website.
They have diluted their topical authority. That's one of the things as well. So the thing with this circle that I have mentioned, imagine you have your circle about your brand, you have other circles about other people. So they have grown very big till they covered their circle.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they wanted to cover other people's circles as well, which comes to a point that are you actually worthy of ranking there? And also you might be hurting yourself because you cover lots of topics. And Google, when they assign an authority score for you, they assign it based on the surfaces that you mention, the surfaces that you surface, and then take the average authority of all of them. If you have a good authority in here and a really bad authority in a different place, then that might be affecting your good authority in one way or the other. So they are trying to fix that now.
Yeah, but also if you think of retrospect, what they did previously to try to expand their growth through other topics that maybe it's hardly related to them was actually genius. It was smart. They found a way to actually win in a system that is very tight, and they did it in a way that actually was working for a lot of years.
Exactly.
But
they get enough of it.
Yeah, like the main what's worrying me is that okay, now this is something that used to be maybe a strategy when it comes to traditional SEO optimization has been used for a couple of years, but now people wake up one day and it's not only it's not working, it's actually you're going to receive penalty because you're doing it.
Yes.
So it's and forget about now HubSpot, forget about what they did. Let's take this as the main lesson. The main lesson is the things are shifting when it comes to SEO. How can we help decision makers to focus on what it is important that they need to focus on right now?
Absolutely. Well, you need to focus always on the first principles. I'm not sure if you heard about this, but I keep hearing this every single year that the SEO is dying. And it never died. I've been in the industry since the last 15 years, and I keep hearing that thing every single year, and it's actually evolving day over day. And that ChatGPT is using still the search engines and so on. So focusing in the first principles, HubSpot as an example, they didn't pay attention that much to the first principle because it was working very fine for them. The first principle is that don't dilute your authority to different surfaces that you don't own. Or if you want to surface that surface, you have to be a really good authority into it. Otherwise, you might get hit. They did it, was working fine, but then eventually they know that they will be hitting. They got hit, and then they are now trying to fix it. So what my advice for any business owner, let's take the e-commerce as an example. Make your website crawlable, make your website indexable. That's for the SEO sake and for ChatGPT sake, and actually good for user experience. Why would I have to click 1,000 times to reach a certain product? Why aren't your filters prominent enough to let me explore your product? Why don't you have a mega menu that I can navigate electronics, and outside electronics I can navigate to computers, and outside the computers can
different categories,
laptops, and outside laptops I can navigate different brands, I can navigate different specs and so on. That's helpful for the user. You have like ease of use friction to whatever you want. Along with that's also very helpful for search engines. We work with lots of e-commerce. One of the e-commerce that we have been working with, we had a target of 30% increase in the traffic. But then once we fixed just one thing, fixing their category, we just took out all their categories and we created a new list by looking at how their customers find them, the internal search that they have in their website, and also looking at the different competitions and what really works well for them. We have found, as you mentioned, lots of half-packed SEO strategies in the e-commerce space here is that they're trying to target basically everything, which most of the cases doesn't work. So we figured out which one of them are the most important things that actually receive traffic and people are searching for. We got this and we grouped them into multiple clusters and let's say multiple main categories. And inside that main category, there's 8 of different subcategories nested all together. We had this, and just by doing that with a bunch of other crawlability things that we have been doing in the website, that increased the traffic and the organic revenue by 170%.
Wow.
In just a span of 2 months or 3 months. So these are the key things that you have to do. Listen to your SEO guys, listen to your crawlability, look at your log files, look at how Google and the other engines are accessing your website, and try to make sure that this road is well paved and it's actually easy for them to find whatever they want with ease with your both of the consumers. You have agents, which consists of agentic AI and consists of bots as well. And you have your users. Both of them should have a seamless experience where users can do whatever they want, but you need to guide them. Agents, bots they are blind. So for instance, if your website is heavy in JavaScript, it takes them 9x of the resources to execute your JavaScript and find your website. While each and every website would have a dedicated crawl budget. You don't want to overconsume that crawl budget with something. You want it to make the full use out of it. So make your website crawlable easily without executing JS. Make your internal links prominent enough so within 3 to 5 clicks, an agent or a bot can get to your point A in your website, from point A in your website to point Z, which is the last link, and then going back and forth. That's the very most important thing that you have to think about.
And I guess one of the main things that I guess I took away here from our last discussion now is basically about focusing on the lower funnel. If you're going to focus on something, you need to focus on the main thing. What is the main thing that your website does, and you try to focus on? And if I'm going to focus on the lower funnel, can I think about it in a way that that's what I'm going to do? Like, for example, this quarter, again, I'm not moving from the example. Like this quarter, I'm going to do 4 things. 2, lower funnel for traditional SEO, and 2, lower funnel to try to get me an advantage. Because the thing is, with this kind of disruption, it's an opportunity to be ahead.
Yes.
So if I'm like innovative and I want to take advantage of it, I want to do something here, even though if I don't have the perfect stack when it comes to SEO. And the issue is a lot of SEO specialists and all of this, they are more by design, which is a good thing. They are perfectionist a lot. They want to fix everything and then you move into anything.
And the developers.
Yeah. But it doesn't work this way. So
yes.
My question to you is, if I want to now, I'm going to focus. I understood what you said. I'm going to focus on lower funnel. What are top 3 things that I need to focus on every e-com brand that they can listen to this now to start applying and look into? 3 things to focus on from traditional SEO, and 3 things to focus on to take an advantage, like right now when it comes to AI visibility.
Absolutely. So for the SEO, we keep on repeating the same thing, which is you make your website crawlable, you create your category list, and make sure that this is indexable and crawlable, and make sure that anything that's done in your website, you have 2 different versions, one for the bots and one for the user. For instance, you have an internal search bar, which whenever a user initiates a query, it creates a new landing page. And then imagine that you have 1,000 users per day, and that 1,000 users, each one of them initiates, let's say, a different query, and that creates 1,000 page per day. That's 30,000 pages per month. That's a lot of pages per year. For Google, you have to be very careful about the URLs that you generate, because it dilutes the crawlability. So you have to close that out. Say, okay, this is an indexable page, but that's not indexable. We keep it for the users, and then we have like a feedback loop system. What's now trending with the users, we do similarity between them, and then that triggers an action for the SEO team and says, look, there's a lot of trending searches happening for that specific keyword. Do you have this as a category or not? If they don't have it, then that automatically creates a category page. That's one of the very winning techniques that we are doing. And that's in a traditional SEO. And when it comes to the AEO or Gemini, again, you have to focus on strategically be visible with other brands or other people, or like, let's say, a niche blog, an affiliate website. Like affiliates is actually getting big time now, because they have a lot of opinions, they have a lot of reviews, a lot of UGC content, and so on. So you have to be present with them through a PR, through partnerships. So you basically increase your surface visibility. Don't call it. I don't want to call it backlinks, but it's just increasing your surface. It's branding and it's PR as well. The second thing that you need to focus on is that you need to own something. You need to own the opinions of your own users. You need to start capturing UGC reviews, ratings from yesterday. You need to get that. You need to host it in a way. And you need to surface this in multiple places. And you need also to infuse GenAI with that. You need to increase the amount of attributes that you have in your product. For instance, a product with certain image with certain attributes, you will only have little time to have attributes curated by yourself. But using GenAI to analyze the images, you can actually generate attributes that wasn't really available in the attributes that I have created. So it creates for you other queries, other things that might be searched in other places, like ChatGPT. What you want to do here is you want to answer the questions that is being asked in all these services, but nobody is answering with the perspective of the personas that you have. So you need to figure out your personas. You need to figure out the questions that they have, and then you need to figure out the matching between all of them in a certain answer or a certain different way. How you can do this in today, ChatGPT or any other GenAI engine, they don't expose to you the questions that people ask, the kind of prompts that they use, and so on. But eventually they will do. Like if you remember back in the days, Google, before having Google Ads, Google AdWords back in the days, they didn't have a keyword planner to expose the search volumes. And once they introduced an ads real estate, then they exposed
search volume report.
The search volumes to marketers so they can plan their campaigns. And then SEOs take, of course, leverage of that, so we can optimize for it. So eventually, when ChatGPT is introducing ads, they would have such a thing, and then we will start to optimize. But for now, you need to focus on your personas, and then you need to look at your Google Search Console, of course, and you need to transform your keywords into questions. How you can do this? It's simply by using GenAI again. You're using the same exact tool that the users use, which fit by their information, so you can transform a keyword into a question. And what happens in ChatGPT in terms of the questions, again, in Google, we have a lot of long tail keywords. We have like 15% of searches daily, or which happens in Google, are in totally new searches. And now that surface is increasing. Like it's increasing a lot because people are now searching with a very long tail list of keywords because they are expecting AI overview to answer them. The same thing is happening in ChatGPT with a bit of more steroids into it. Like the shortest question that people would ask is one of the longest questions that people would ask in Google. So imagine that the majority is the long tail, and the short tail is like very few examples. So that a lot of long tail and a lot of specific questions creates an opportunity for everybody to be present, because there would be hit a lot of questions that nobody has answered yet.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, and what happens in ChatGPT, they try to add their opinion, they try to curate something from here and there and give you the opinion. But if you answer that question very specifically, then the likelihood of you being cited there is actually 150%.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to figure out your personas, you need to figure out their pain points, and then you need to figure out what kind of products as a solutions that you have, what the questions that they would be asking about your product.
Mm.
Add these questions into your P2P, the product description page, or your listing page, and then that would ultimately be surfaced for them so that it can be used from Gen AI to curate you as a source or a thought leader in that industry.
I don't know if you watched the Office series.
Yeah, I watched some of them. Really funny.
Yeah, like the second point that you mentioned regarding owning your own thing, I guess it reminds me with Ryan when he was actually VP of the company. I don't know if you remember, but like, the idea is like he started this website of Dunder Mifflin to sell paper. Yeah. And then he thought about creating like a social media presence for people to come and share their experiences with it. And it's basically more or less what you're trying to say, people to own something.
Yes.
Rather than the main business to try to create like blog spaces that people can share things. Absolutely. Or at least they can share more content that can be discovered better with AI. Also very important to be aware of regulation. If you're going to create something, be aware that of regulation and how you're going to have safe data for your customers. But okay. Also, one thing I remember having a discussion with ChatGPT. I asked it like, okay, show me different running shoes. Okay. Mention 1, 2, 3, 4 brand. Okay. Show me best models of Hoka. Yes. Running shoes 1, 2, 3. Okay. And within the chat, it's actually giving me like Google Shopping or like PMax, it's giving me the image of the product with the price from Amazon, from different brands, from Noon, from things like that.
Yes.
And I was trying to ask it, okay, what can other e-commerce brands do in order to ensure that they have visibility? Crawlability is very, I guess the answer that I received from it. It was a very long conversation, but mainly it was about crawlability and server-side rendering.
Yes.
So if you can explain, if you can explain simply about server-side rendering and why it is important for AI generative engines, so they can
absolutely. So I'm gonna go like slightly less technical in here. So server-side rendering, in short, in the layman terms that we use in SEO, is that your website is present on the server and renders the whole thing in HTML.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to execute JavaScript to find whatever information that you want. Like imagine you have an accordion, you have to click on the accordion to expand the things that are underneath. Mm-hmm. But now with server-side rendering, all this data would be visible. Mm-hmm. The reason why is that we actually found that there was lots of tests. We have done multiple tests, and one of them, we influenced an AI agent to look at our website in 2 different versions. One of them was everything hitting inside the JavaScript, and we had like a simple message that rendered in the HTML, and another version of the website that contains the whole thing in the HTML. We actually found out that when we hit both of them with the generative AI, they haven't seen anything that's hitting inside the JavaScript. They say nothing visible. It's just that message that you have. Versus the other website, which you have the whole thing, but it's without the JavaScript, which uses server-side rendering. They return back with all the information that it contains. And the reason why is executing JavaScript heavy website is actually a costly thing. There are multiple tests that have been done specifically through Google. We know that Google have a very big infrastructure, but now the generative AI, they don't have as advanced infrastructure as Google, and they're trying to be cost efficient because the LLM itself to run is super expensive. On top of this, you have a scraping engine, which gets you the data. And imagine you're adding another layer, which is executing JavaScript. That in Google costs 9x of the regular sources if you have the data in HTML. 9x of the amount of clicks, 9x of the time, and so on and so forth. They made the decision to say, okay, we would only, I mean, the web have a lot of things, a lot of content. We wouldn't be relying on the websites that have heavily JavaScript execution just for the simple answer, but we can do that with agentic solutions. Agentic can stimulate the human behavior and go there and grab whatever they want. But for the simple answer, for the quick answer, like the shopping pack, which is available now in ChatGPT, can get easily. So they rely mostly on websites that have a faster crawlable website, which have all their data present in their HTML and their server-side rendered. So this is one of the main things that you need to focus on. Make your website server-side rendered, and that's part of analyzing your crawlability and see if there's any crawl bottlenecks where bots can see the full version of your website. They can paginate through your website. They can reach your website with ease and also with less amount of resources. And also ChatGPT, they have now something like GMC, Google Merchant Center, where you can actually integrate with them, but it's like a closed beta now. So you can reach out to them, you can actually integrate with their Merchant Center, you get receiving the traffic as any other source of traffic, like Google Merchant Center.
No, I didn't know about that. Honestly, the latest thing I knew about GMC integration that you have to create a merchant center with Bing because they have the integration with Bing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was just an expectation from us SEOs that we assume that okay, Bing have a direct collaboration with ChatGPT. So anything we do in Bing would be picked up in ChatGPT, and we actually found out that ChatGPT is not relying on Bing to retrieve the results.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are relying now on Google. So they used to rely directly with Google, but now Google is blocking their accesses. So now they work with a third-party vendors who are creating proprietary tools for them that does that job for them and then gets the data for them from Google, because again, everybody knows that Google is the best search engine ever. And they have been a war against Bing like forever, but Bing is not trying, like they cannot keep up with how Google is advanced. So that's why they rely mostly in Google. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess now we can talk about that tracking point, like the point that you've postponed it for two times now. So how can we track the visibility within AI engines? Like if I want to see, like as I'm looking at my search queries and all of this, if I want to see like last month I used to track like number one on this query or this question in this case, is it going to be the same for this month or for the next month?
Yeah. Well, there are lots of tools to do that now, but my 2 cents for these tools is all of them are biased. The reason being is that they pick up the question themselves based on your brand. So you plug in your brand in that tool, and then that tool would have like a list of different questions, list of templates for the questions.
They generate the question based on the
fly,
brand.
they create the questions based on the brand, as you said. But this is biased to their selection. It's not the actual universe what users are searching for. But it's actually a very difficult task to achieve. You don't have any search volume. This data is not exposed, so you cannot do it. You don't have a Google Search Console, alike for ChatGPT. But I'm doing this for my clients in a slightly different way, which is actually more extensive and give us like a good results. So what these tools, the principle behind it is that you have list of questions, and you have ChatGPT API, OpenAI API, you have Perplexity, you have Claude, you have Gemini, you have the rest of them. And what you will do is you will get these questions one by one, asking all these engines, and look at the results and measure your visibility inside the answer. A visibility can be a citation as a link, or a visibility can be just a mention of your brand, the brand name. So they measure both of them, and then they calculate a weighted visibility.
Mhm.
A weighted visibility is how close you are at the beginning of the answer and how many times that you have been cited in the answer, inside the single answer, and also inside multiple answers. Then they track the visibility, and they do this through time. But the limitation here with these tools is search and actually questioning inside the LLMs is super personalized.
Mhm.
Personalized to you. So if I ask it the same question to ChatGPT, it will reply with a different answer than if you ask it ChatGPT with the same question, because they know me, they know my persona, and so on and so forth. What we are doing is slightly different. So when you ask a question, you always have a follow-up question.
Mhm.
You mentioned about the shoes.
Mm.
So you want to get running shoes, and then you figured out Hoka is one of the best,
Mhm.
and then you want to get Hoka with your size.
Mhm.
You want to get your size plus you want to make it working for hiking or muddy weathered or whatever. So you
Or
have
different colors.
different colors and a lot of variations. So what we do is we look at your Google Search Console, how your users actually searching.
Mm.
We look at the very long tail list of keywords.
Mm.
We pick up the themes. This is guided by the pain points of the personas that we have already covered previously. Along with these queries, along with these search terms that we have from Google Search Console, we will transform it into a hit term, which is the first question that users ask,
Mhm.
guided by their persona,
Mhm.
along with follow-up series of questions, let's say 3 or 4 follow-up questions for each and every query. So you have 1,000 queries. These 1,000 queries transformed into 1,000 prompts.
Mhm.
These 1,000 prompts transformed into multiplied by 5 personas that you have,
Mhm.
and also multiplied by 3 follow-up questions.
Mhm.
So that's the amount of prompts that you need to do to track a proper visibility on your brand. But now that also have a bit of biases because you analyzed your own Google Search Console.
Mhm.
That's how your users find your brand. You wanted to combine this also with how people are finding other brands, which is your competitors. You know your competitors, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna use any of the existing tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush, or there are loads of them. You look that website there and you just get the amount of keywords that they rank on and you don't rank on, like a simple gap analysis. You pick those keywords and you do the same exercise as well,
Mhm.
understanding their personas and understanding your personas as well, multiplied by the amount of prompts. That creates the prompts that you think is, which is actually true, relevant to your brand, relevant to the audiences who can find your brand in different services.
Mhm.
You have this, and on a daily basis, you will hit the APIs with each and every question, and then you look at the visibility.
Mhm.
And with that visibility, you would also have a lot of this is just for the sake of visibility. You wanted to understand and benchmark yourself
Track, yeah.
against the competition.
Mm.
But there is another side of it, which is the optimization. Because what we do in the SEO, we analyze and then we optimize accordingly.
Mhm.
There is one keyword that I rank in the 3rd position, but I have a lot of impressions. If I move to the 1st position, then I'll be getting 50% increase of the traffic or say.
Mm.
Same thing in the LLMs. Now I have, let's say, the lowest visibility score. What I will do here is, let's say I have a good overall visibility score,
Mhm.
but it's like 60% as a number. I'll be looking, why am I not 100%? There would be one of these groups, and I'm grouping actually the keywords and the prompts into clusters or groups of intersected questions or intersected personas. And I'll look my surface visibility inside that persona. Who is the top brand? Who are the top sites, which are not necessarily brands, but might be niche blogs, might be affiliates, and so on. And then I would look at how many times these guys are being cited. That's the first thing. And I would look if there is any partnership with them. So if they are cited, let's say 20 times, if I get partnership with them in that most cited URL, I get 20 citations. That's an additional. Along with the topics itself, am I covering these topics as questions and answers
My
inside?
own, yeah.
Yeah, inside my own website. If I have these two things, covering the gap, having the authority, topical authority, along with all the questions that I can possibly gather from my consumer, from my competitors, and so on, which is a lot of questions. If I have those along with partnership with the others, then I own the AEO.
Now you can
Simply by that.
improve. Now you
Yeah.
can optimize and improve
Exactly.
a
And then-
dedicated question or query. Okay.
Absolutely.
But like what you've described, that gaining more like inbound questions using the Google Search Console to get the question instead of coming up with the questions
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
or letting the tool coming up. How much time like first, is this doable? Like
It is very doable. Yes.
But like how much time do brands need to invest in order to get it done? Or is there a tool that providing this already?
We have custom workflows that we have ourselves. Hopefully we will expose this to public sometime. So it takes time, of course, because you're going to use LLM. Again, we have websites where they have millions of queries, but we need to be super selective with the queries. So this to be done, it's an extensive exercise. And when there is any extensive exercise by the product way of thinking is that you need to split this into phases. So you have million queries. What are the top, let's say 10% of these queries? I look at first, before analyzing these queries, I look at the questions.
The long tail one.
Yes, the long tail ones with questions intent as well. These are things that people can search in Google and also search in ChatGPT. We know that because it's a long tail question. We get those as the first step. We do some basic optimizations. It's done, fine. That improves the impact. And based on the impact, based on revenue that impact generated, based on the visibility, whatever metric that we're going to track, then that guides us to the next phase, which is expanding to not, now we have long tail questions, and we get to long tail, but not questions, just keywords. That's a second step, bigger chunk. We analyze them, we group them, we transform them, and then do the basic visibility and then the optimization. We see that we are improving, then we move to the bigger chunk, which is the mid-tail keywords. Slightly longer than the short tail, and then we transform it into prompts, visibility. After visibility, there is the optimization, and it keeps coming.
No, okay, but like if we said like I'm going only to focus on the long tail keywords and questions.
Yeah.
As my starting point, ideally this should be the lowest volume of
absolutely
keyword on my search console. And now I'm going to take the second step, which is attaching them with the different personas.
Yes.
The different personas in your workflow, is this something that you come up with, or this is something that you receive maybe from the brand manager, or how do you come up with the different personas?
Has to be signed and approved by the brand manager, has to be signed and approved by whoever have the most business context in the company that we work with. These personas are tied to their branding, are tied to their offering, and so on. This is, again, we have been relying in LLMs to come up with the personas, but that didn't work. So it has to be guided by the people who actually design a brand. You sit with them, you understand their personas, you understand the pain points of the personas, and then you come up with a tailored list of the personas where then you can use the LLMs to fine tune what you have.
Okay, now, so we have understood, makes sense. We're going to use the persona you're going to receive it from the brand. Now you have the long tail keyword and question attached with the persona. Now, how you are going to feed this to ChatGPT? Are you going just to tell them like you consider that you are this persona, here is this question, what comes first? Or do you come into the way that you actually create an account, or maybe, I don't know.
No, that would be super complicated. I mean, it's much better if it's done this way, but it's costly, very complicated to be done, and it's actually hard to scale. What we do is we transform that big list of persona, which contains lots of attributes, into something natural that can be embedded in every single prompt. Like, for instance, a persona would be a father who lives somewhere and having a specific income. Then I would be adding that in a question. You know what? Like, I'm a father who recently got
Mm.
to be a father, and I earned that much. And then here's my question,
Mm-hmm.
as simple as that. So we transform that big persona into like a simple thing that can be embedded inside the question
Mm-hmm.
in a very natural way.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to achieve a slight bit of the personalization that comes with ChatGPT to influence them
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question in a way that they will answer for that specific persona. We tested this multiple times through different personas to reach a point that the answers are totally different between one persona and the other for the same question.
True, but honestly, yeah, I definitely the answer is going to be different. But like, I believe if you look at it on an aggregate level, it will not change that much. If you're taking, for example, if I'm using one of the tools that actually tracking a trend, like without context, let's say, without personalization, top 10 running shoes brands in Saudi.
Yes.
And this is my question. I want to track against it each and every day. Even though if it's not accurate 100%, if I'm keep tracking it within the same benchmark and I keep improving or I going down, this from itself, it's quite telling. It doesn't have to be accurate. What the point I'm trying to say is, it doesn't have to be that accurate. If it's going up, relatively, like you would think about it, even with the optimized version that you come up with, that you're going to go up if it's going up with the random one. And if it's going down, if you look deeper, you'll find yourself looking deeper.
Yes. That can be used as a leading indicator. You can use it without the personas at the beginning, but if you wanted to optimize, you have to look at the personas anyways. If you wanted to optimize,
even though tracking can be an issue, but like if you're using this data not just for tracking but for optimizing, how you're going to optimize if you don't know which persona is.
Yes. Which one have the most pain point? Again, you can answer the same question inside your content, but that's not personalized. So some people will find it, the rest of them will never. So
No, makes sense. I guess this is very interesting because this like landscape itself, like tools and SaaS companies for Gen AI visibility are quite not there yet.
Yes.
And there is a room to actually create something that is meaningful.
Exactly. It's actually coming to a point that it's very commodity. Again, the difference between this and the SEO tools aggregate lots of keywords. They have their own data set of keywords and they have to scrap Google and so on. That's why they have like a slightly harder barrier to break into. But these guys who do the basic prompt tracking have a very low barrier. Like everybody can come up with the same idea and do it in the same day with vibe coding. Like
true,
you just plug in your domain.
It's all about the API integration with the different, which is easy as well.
It's
also
super easy. Like
and the UX,
a UX is the same. Like if you look at these tools, all of them have more or less the same UX with just different colors.
V0.
So it's very simple. You have your domain, and then once you upload your domain, you would have a fired deep search through Perplexity or through ChatGPT. It returns back to you with their competitors, top questions. You look at questions and you initiate the queries back and forth.
But I guess the added value also that some of the tool does that they actually give you optimization that you can do in your technical SEO, and it allow automatically to do the changes with click of a button.
Yeah, well, that's kind of things that they understood lately, that there is no moat in what they are doing, so they want to do something extra. Like what you've just explained is called Edge SEO, where this is implemented in your Edge worker. And you just initiate whatever you want to fix, and initiate the page tab or the URL, and it automatically pushes the fix in the cloud, and that's done. So that's one of the things that they wanted to add as a differentiator. Like, look, we can optimize it for you, but then that comes to a point that user would be buying this tool not just for the prompt tracking because everybody can do it, but I want to use them because they do.
You can do SEO improvement,
So it's just a differentiator that they wanted to add on top of the things that they offer.
Okay, I guess that's very interesting. So after all of this discussion, I don't know
Yeah.
for how long I've been discussing now, more than an hour, of course.
Oh, okay. Time
Yeah.
flies.
How do you see the future? How do you see the future of SEO? Do you think that in 2030 that there still will be SEO and there's
Absolutely. But it's just would be a different shape and color.
Mm.
What I imagine is by time, well, if Google couldn't keep up, but they will always figure out a way. Like it's Google, so they will never fail. I mean, they failed in a lot of things, but yeah, that's how I see it now. They have a lot of good compute. They are the ones actually behind the research paper that
for the
ChatGPT
deep
used
learning
for-
and
yeah, the attention mechanism and so on. So they have the capabilities, they have the infrastructure, they have everything, but in reality, when they do start moving to the monetization, that's where the big disturbance will happen. That's why they didn't do the monetization till today. ChatGPT is burning on daily at least $500,000 USD on daily for the users, and they don't get that much of return from the subscriptions. Like just a few amount, it doesn't cover anything. So they have to come up to a point that there would be a good
payback.
yes, a good ads that they can position and a good advertising and so on, good integrations. They have to figure out a way to monetize it better. Once they do that, I think by 2030, SEO will still be super valid because SEO is not just the 10 blue links, but it's a way to make your content discoverable. You can do SEO in Reddit, you can do SEO in YouTube, you can do SEO in TikTok, you can do it in Instagram, which is super easy, by the way. You can do it in multiple surfaces. So now we have like AI browsers, like Comet that comes from Perplexity and so on. You want to make sure that when their agent initiates the whatever, because they always initiate the search, they search in the web. So you have to be present, you have to optimizing for that. So the future would be less UI on the websites, but more to the zero, like the dead internet theory, where there is no direct interactions with the users, but the interactions are with the agents. But for the agents, you have to be present, you have to be visible, you have to benchmark yourself against the competition with a good server-side rendering and all this kind of thing. So SEO would be still valid, but would be in a different shape and form. I hope that SEO guys won't call it to a different acronym, like what they have today. They have GEO, they have AEO.
Yeah, every day we have a new term for
so
SEO. Yeah,
I just don't want to do that.
yeah. No, I guess that's. Let's hope this way. Let's hope this way because no one really know for sure.
Absolutely.
But, and now, do you have any closing notes till the end of our episode?
Oh yeah. So the thing that I would recommend everybody to focus on today is own your thing. Have your get together with your team and think about a way to capture UGC. Whatever you do, you have to capture, you have to own your community. If you do that, you have your own community, then whatever disturbance happened in the web, the community is still existing. You satisfy your users. And instead of users finding you through Google, ChatGPT, users can do the virality themselves. They can share it with each other. They can self-referring other users, and you have a living community where you just satisfying them, you listen to them, you give whatever they want. So that's would be my ultimate advice for everybody.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Mahmoud. It was really a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise. Thank you.
Reach for growth, reach for more. Performance marketing hardcore. Tune in, listen.